But we're gonna get into the TATE interview. We're gonna see how this goes.
Oh yeah,
I already see in the title it says a heated debate. So
yeah, definitely heated. Did you want to share your screen on?
yeah,
Share
yeah,
your
yeah.
screen here.
Let's share it.
It's actually pretty well for Tate. It's good. So
Yeah, I
it
believe it.
slams her ass.
Let me
Yeah, mainstream media is just extremely delegitimate now. You can't even trust. I don't even trust mainstream media. So
I believe it. I'm gonna share
yeah.
it right now.
Let's see.
Bada boom. Should be able to see it.
Cool. Oh yeah, no, I see it. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I hope he does more interviews. I know he's still in under house arrest, but
I
definitely.
heard. I don't know if it's true, but I heard a recent thing that that they like really slammed down and like he's in house arrest until next June. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
that's crazy if that is.
Yeah, they would have to charge him to keep him any longer. I don't know. They'd have to charge him with some bullshit. We'll see what happens. Like I know he's still in house arrest for sure now.
Yeah,
sure.
like, and I've heard like certain stuff, whatever. Like it's interesting where like he said like, oh, it's a bunch of bullshit. Like they don't have fucking shit on him or whatever. Nothing, like that all this so-called evidence, whatever, blah blah. So like he's clearly like trolling it and like not really taking it that serious because he's not worried. And that's another thing too. Like let's be real. Yeah. If Tate was more than likely guilty, right, or whatever, all this shit, whatever, don't you think he would show some form of stress, being worried?
Yeah.
This and that, whatever, blah blah, or not even saying shit. He would just actually be quiet,
Yeah, he wouldn't talk to anybody.
Like, so it's like it's like he's basically thinking of his mentality right now. Like he has nothing to lose. Like he knows it's all whatever. So like you have that, but even if we take that away, from what I've been hearing here and there, like it's really funny and it's crazy how his country is doing him though.
Yeah, the criminal justice system in Romania is certainly questionable.
It's wild.
It's definitely not fair. I'll tell you that. Yeah, definitely not fair.
But before we start this, let's go. I'm just letting you know right off the whip. If you want to put any of this on your YouTube as well, you can, man. Like,
oh yeah, I might actually do that too. To be honest,
I know I'm be real. We're kind of spitting in this stream.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you when you post this, it's gonna do well.
Yeah. But all right, we'll get this. And what's good, everybody? It's Batman. We're gonna be doing a reaction video with Andrew Tate. It's the first interview with BBC. Yep. It's apparently a really heated debate. I got Jay the Great with me as well.
Yes, sir. So, this is a good debate. Definitely a good interview. I believe it's his first official interview since he's been in house arrest and in prison in general. This is an official interview, so
yeah, it's legit. And I think there was another interview he did as well. I have it in my watch later. When he right when he just came up, I think that was more of like a bootleg interview or something.
Yeah, apparently he was trolling a reporter. He's like, "Can I get an interview with you?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. Bring your box of chocolates and do it." Like, sure. Yeah, this is actually like for real.
Yeah, so this is gonna be really interesting. I'm very, very intrigued. So we're gonna get into it. And like I said, you guys already know the vibes. Make sure to check out Jay the Great. He's about to hit that 4K. He's doing his thing. He's gonna continue to grow. He has tons and tons of content. It's all types of stuff, guys. IRL. Naruto, and anime, you name it. So he has goated shit. If you don't know of him, you probably should though, because most of my subs and viewers are from Jay's YouTube and Six's YouTube. Fun fact, if you guys didn't know.
Shout out to Six too.
Yeah. Go. So we're gonna get into it and let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Put this shit at full screen as well. Wait, hang on. Let me see this shit. Been begging Andrew Tate for an interview for the last damn begging.
Well, I guarantee they
were.
Holy
Holy shit! But let's be real. You know why? A lot of people get profit off him.
They want that clout. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The BBC, CNN, I guarantee they're all.
It's kind of like that Seth situation where like anybody getting involved was gonna get some fucking value out of it. You know what I mean? Like Noodles got shit. Clyde obviously, but rightfully so. Clyde was the only one that should have gotten anything out of it. And Swag as well next. But other than that, but everybody got shit. Anyone that was involved, they were just getting. I think even you got something out of it too.
Yeah, I definitely got more following after Seth the Pedo.
It was funny. Sure. So, but overall, like it's kind of similar to that. But either way, like this already is just kind of making me laugh. The fact that they're over here begging, like, because think about it, guys. If you hate someone so much, right? Or you think they're like the evil, the devil, and all this crazy shit's going on about him, or we said about him all the time, right? Why the fuck do you even want his attention? Why are you even having him on your platform? Aren't you kind of like enabling that, right? Or and you get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like it's just it's kind of sus, and it's red flags in a sense, hypocritical. and they're doing it obviously for value. That's the main.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, TATE finally agreed to their begging. They ignored all of their promised questions and attempted a hit job. Okay.
Yep.
Here we go.
You agreed to do an interview with the BBC today.
Yep.
The material is going to be published on television, on radio, online.
Perfect.
We are doing an interview with you because you're facing some very serious allegations.
Correct.
Rape, human trafficking.
Yep.
And also because...
rape? What?
Yeah, I guess that was one of the apparent allegations. Good luck proving that.
Bro, I knew it was human trafficking, but damn, okay.
Yeah.
What that's based on.
There's a great deal of concern about the things you say and the impact that they have on young people, on women.
I don't think the concern's about the things I say. I think the concern is for the level of influence I have and the reach I have. I would argue that a lot of the things that are already out there inside of the legacy media and the matrix as a whole are far more damaging than the things I say.
Concern about the influence you have being a harmful influence, but let's start with the allegations.
Not necessarily a harmful influence. The fact that I'm massively influential over the youth, and I understand that, but it's my influence as a whole which people are afraid of, not necessarily the things I say.
Let's start with the allegations. Have you raped anybody?
Absolutely not.
Have you trafficked anybody?
Absolutely not.
Exploited any women for
Absolutely.
money?
What the fuck? Yo, is she dead ass asking these questions right now? Like if she really thinks this man's, he's gonna be like, oh, you got me. Yep, yep.
It's such an obvious ploy of a hit job. It's like blatant. The first thing you ask him, did you do these things? Why would he not? Why would he not be in prison if he did them?
That's already a red flag. Like, come on, bro. Or if he was already admitting or didn't give a damn, he would be in jail right now.
Clearly, she's grasping for straws.
I'm sorry, but that's already immediately a red flag. What kind of fucking interviewer asks some dumb ass questions? And he obviously has a reason. Like, you can even see his face agree. He's like, why the fuck is this bitch asking me this?
so disingenuous. Like, BBC, this is who you brought on? This person?
A little off topic. Ken asked something. Would you want to see Peacemaker get into the DCU? I'm be honest. I'm not trying to be mean. I wasn't really a fan of him. Of Peacemaker.
He's not really that mainstream. I don't think he'd do that well.
And I know he had a show, but since I didn't like him enough, I didn't even watch his fucking show. I just wasn't a fan of him when I watched the Suicide Squad movie. That's where that's where I saw him from. So but that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah,
and then let's also be honest. It's John Cena, bro.
I mean, that was more of like entertainment value for a temporary period. He's not like mainstream like Batman or Superman. No.
Absolutely not.
But you have admitted using emotional manipulation to get women to work in the webcam industry for you.
No. Firstly, let's begin. Let's start at the beginning. I'm facing charges. The first one you mentioned, the rape one's already started.
You saw that though, how she was trying to misconstrue, and she's like, "Oh, but you have been shown to do this MO as come on, bro."
The way she's formulating these questions, it's to get a gotcha moment. They're loaded questions. They're not asked in a non-biased way. It's a very, very, I would say, deceptive way to ask.
And that's also fucked up too, because Pierce, right? He's actually for the most part, he's very, very unbiased. For the most part, he's competent. I know he's had his moments where he can be really emotional or then be a doofus, but for the most part, he's really good. And I think out of anyone I've seen so far, I could be wrong on this, he is probably the most unbiased person that I've ever seen. He always tries to give someone the chance to explain, defend themselves, yada yada yada, blah blah.
Yeah, Piers is one of the best reporters. One of the most unbiased reporters out there.
With the Andrew Tate though, that was really bad. He was just being. The
first interview,
biased.
He was extremely. You could tell he had resentment, personal resentment.
Yeah, it was really bad. And obviously then he gets bitched and he looks really really bad. And eventually it was to the point where he got bitched so bad where he even started saying no, you didn't do nothing wrong. And he was even agreeing that he didn't do anything after reviewing and going over everything. So. But overall, he's really good for the most part.
Most of the time.
Kanye West, very unbiased. When he interviewed him,
extremely.
that's another problem. If you're already being biased or already trying to be like a dick to someone during an interview, like I'm personally, if that was me, I wouldn't even do the interview right there and then. I'll be honest, like because they clearly have nothing but negative intentions for you. You know?
Yeah, it all it does is it decreases your credibility, not only to the person you're interviewing, but to the masses, the people that are watching.
And they're the only ones benefiting from it, basically, too.
Yeah.
You know, even like, if Tate like shows himself in a positive light or is able to slam this chick or whatever you name it, he probably does. You know, even if that does happen, it's still like just not productive for you. It's still risky in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And another example is like Robert Downey Jr. We all know he used to have like a whole drug history and you name it, whatever. And he got over that and like it was a go to W moment, right? He got through all his shit. Now he's like doing everything he's got to do, and he's you know a perfect example that even when you are fucking up and you make mistakes, you can still be something, right? And then you don't have to be that person anymore, or nobody can hold you as that person anymore, right? Where there was some interviewers where they were goated, unbiased interviews, whatever, right? And or always trying to promote more of positive, you know, right? Then there were some interviewers that doing what she's doing, you know, or like other people where they're trying to be slick and it's clearly biased or trying to be negative, where the questions he started asking me, you probably have seen it too, Jay. He started immediately asking me, he's like, oh, like, so do you still do drugs? And, you know, this and this and that and whatever. And then he was just saying some like really fucked up like interviewing questions. And Robert Downey Jr. was so confused, you could tell like his eyes are getting watery and he's starting to like get really frustrated and emotional in a sense because it's clearly a trigger for him, right? And he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, wait, I'm confused. Like, why are you asking? Whatever, blah, blah. And then eventually he's like, it got to the point where he's like, nah, fuck this. Like, he didn't even entertain it. He just got up. He's like, we're done. He roasts him as well, makes fun of him, and just walks right out. And the guy just looks like a fucking blatant asshole piece of shit, you know?
It's just interviewing in bad faith. It's just very disingenuous. Yeah. It's clearly you have an agenda, which you, in journalistic reporting, like your journalistic integrity is determined by how unbiased you could be and how lack of agenda should be the case in every interview. You shouldn't have an agenda going into it because you're just interviewing in bad faith. Yeah. It's not professional.
Like if I could find that, I'll eventually like show you it, whatever time. You probably have seen it, but that shit was wild, bro. Like if I was him, bro, I don't even know. I might have smacked the man. Like,
it's just shit. Very disingenuous.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's very difficult for me to sit here and have a very frank and honest conversation with you while we're in the territory of Romania about a legal case that's going on within Romania. I have to protect myself. I've agreed to do an interview with you, and I want to be as honest with you as possible. But I can't incriminate myself in any way, and I have to be very careful with what I talk about.
There are no charges yet.
Correct. There are no charges.
There are no charges,
and I've agreed to speak to you. But I have to be as honest and frank as I can, while also protecting myself and following my legal counsel.
That's fair. She's not the one in the situation where if she says something, whatever, it can bite her in the ass, and now she's getting locked up instantaneously. Like literally. He has to, like he cannot, you know. Like he can't give no benefit of the doubt, none of that bullshit. I mean, he just has to be blatantly upfront and dead ass serious about it. So if she can't respect that, then she's a dumbass. So
it's disingenuous.
Yeah.
You said yourself then. You have said on the website for your original website for the Hustlers University that you emotionally manipulated women to fall in love with you so that you could get them working in the sex industry for your financial gain.
As I said, I have to be very careful with what I say, but let's put it this way. No women are coming out against me and accusing me of doing it.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. Who?
There's testimony from the current investigation.
The current investigation, which I cannot discuss, which I know intimately and you don't, I can tell you right now that the women who are in this case file, there are 2 American women who have been caught already admitting they're lying, and then nobody else is accusing me of anything.
Oh, yep. Because they showed that just recently where those women were saying like they were held captive and all this other crazy shit, whatever. Yet they're shown on camera to where they have like bags in their hands, they're laughing, they're looking like they're about to go out somewhere, and the gate opens to where his house was, and they literally walk right out. And they blatantly show what they're doing, and you name it.
And there's literal WhatsApp messages where they're talking about them portraying this false narrative. They're literally talking like, "Oh, I should win an Oscar with my acting because I'm telling a really good lie." Like they're admitting that they're lying through WhatsApp messages.
I didn't know about that.
It's blatantly proving that they're fucking liars.
That's wild.
Fuck those bitches, and like, there's been no other women that have come forward because it's bullshit.
Yeah. So like, there you go, guys. I'm sorry.
It's very common in cases like this that the alleged victim.
That's what he was referring to. By the way, at least I'm assuming that's what he was referring to. That's what
yeah.
about.
Those were the two hoes that were talking to each other on WhatsApp. Like, yeah, let's make it seem believable. I cried really well, didn't I? Like they were bullshitting. They admitted it to each other.
And I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not trying to be that guy, but this is, and it's mainly women statistically wise and percentage wise, but women, and it's not all. I'm not saying that either. But there's a lot of women that do this nowadays, whether if it's for criminal related things or divorces, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they'll do this type of shit, you know what I mean? And a lot of people get fucked over. And even if it's proven otherwise, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be, it still will fuck up someone's life and have all these domino effects and negative repercussions because that's how serious it is. You know what I mean? You could get either canceled for these type of things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's all kinds of examples. Johnny Depp is a perfect example. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I can go on and on and on. I'm not going to do that here, but what's it called? But I'm just kind of putting that out there. That is a general trend for certain factions of when it comes to the sex of women. Not all do that. There are plenty of reasonable and great women out there, but I'm just putting that out there. Yeah. It's becoming a general trend, and it's really sad and scary. It's very scary.
Essentially, we have to stick for society to function to innocent till proven guilty. That's just the best way to operate.
Exactly.
Anything otherwise would be tyrannical. It would not be morally justifiable to the majority of society. If you're like, oh, you're guilty because she said so. No, that's not the way it should work.
No. Yeah, absolutely not. This is that simple.
Do not always see themselves as victims.
Well, that's very interesting. It's actually extremely interesting because if I was a matrix-controlled organization and my goal was to slander somebody and try and destroy their name, you're telling me that they've chosen a crime which, one, is heinous, of course, because it damages the person's credibility, and two, you're saying that even if everyone else involved, if you have 5 people and everyone's sitting there saying, no, nobody's hurt anybody, we like Andrew, we've all worked together, we're friends, etc.
That's not what everybody's saying.
No.
Let me read you some of the testimony from the current investigation.
Can I finish this?
One of the witnesses said...
Can I finish this?
You're not answering the question I've asked you. You're not answering the question I've asked you.
I am answering the question.
Let me read you the testimony of one of the witnesses.
You're saying the people who are involved in this, even if they say they're not victims, that they're still
She's not being respectful or professional.
Not at all.
Like, that's just not necessary, but okay.
She's very poor composure from her.
Yeah.
Trying to attack me and pretend they're victims.
Treated as victims by the case that's ongoing. And not all of them are saying that. One of the witnesses says...
We can't go into the case. The case is open and active.
Well, let's just be clear that not all of the witnesses in the case are behaving in the way you describe. And even those that are, it doesn't bar them from being treated...
On what evidence? What does she have?
The only women that came forward have already proven they're lying. There's proof that they lied. So she's trying to create the argument that just because they're not coming forward doesn't mean they weren't victims. That's a poor premise. There's no way to prove one way or the other. So she's just trying to paint a false narrative with subjective lens.
That's my question. Like who are you talking about?
It doesn't hold it. That premise won't hold in court. It's not provable at all. She's clearly biased. It's very, very obvious.
Victims by the prosecution by the case.
We have an open criminal investigation. I am absolutely not really sure I'll be found innocent. I know the case better than you. I know it intimately and you don't. I have seen all the criminal files and the evidence against me and you haven't. I know the truth of what happened and you don't. And I'm telling you absolutely not really, I've never hurt anybody, that the case that's been put against me is completely and utterly fabricated.
And that's another thing real quick. She has limited information. There's only so much she can get, like legally wise and et cetera, right? He knows all of it because he's blatantly, literally involved. He has all that shit. So, when it comes to transparency of who actually has more, it would be him compared to her. Like, I'm just saying. So, I don't know why she's acting like she knows more or whatever. Then there's no way. She would have to be the lawyer involved in the situation to have the same knowledge as him. So,
she's acting like a prosecutor. She's just a reporter.
Yeah.
She needs to stay in the lane.
So I don't know why she's acting like she has that level of knowledge. There's no way. That's impossible.
No.
I'm guilty of anything. And it's very difficult for me to answer your in-depth questions because we're sitting here inside of the territory of Romania. I'm beholden to the Romanian legal system.
I do love how the other people in the background even had to tell, hey, you're not listening. You can't.
Just trying to like
that's an unfair question.
He literally probably should have answered that. It's not in his best interest.
No, he should have just dismissed it. But then again, I see how he's trying to make sure he's not looking any bad in any way, in a sense, to where he could just bitch her, so.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to incriminate myself because you're trying to prod me. You are wrong, and we're going to have to accept that for now and talk about something else.
Let me read you then what you have said about
Sure.
what you have done.
Sure.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think
That's
that's
exactly what
no,
you said
that's
on your
that's
website.
that's no. I've never said that. That's something that you found on the internet. Doesn't mean I've said it.
In
And
your
and again, once again, if any female on the planet has a problem with me, I strongly recommend her to go to the police and try and pursue me for criminal charges. It's actually very interesting that me, one of the most famous people in the world, who's been vilified by the legacy media and places all over the internet, while everyone has attacked me from every single angle, while federal agencies from multiple countries have called over 2,000 women who know me, we stand here with 0 new accusations since my arrest. 0. If you took any famous person, any man of substantial wealth, and you called 2,000 women who knew him, you'd find an ex-girlfriend is upset, somebody who wants money who's upset. They called 2,000 people who knew me and could not find a single woman to make a new complaint. The only complaints they have against me are the initial complaints, which we can prove are lies, and that's where it stands. So I'm not going to sit here and allow you to pretend that I'm some kind of evil predator, when actually I'd argue the fact that people who've been investigated to the level I've been investigated to, if you were to take the average man on the street and investigate his entire life for 14 months, call everyone who's ever known him, and vilify him in the media, and encourage people to come forward for money, and you try to contact every ex-girlfriend he's ever had.
Would come forward and accuse those people of rape and accuse those people
I think that
of
you would have a lot more.
manipulation.
I think you would have a lot more flack than I've got. I'm actually such a nice person that
The
I've
BBC
never had
has
anyone come
spoken
at
to
me.
somebody since your arrest who says exactly those things. That with you, it's all manipulation. There's an ulterior.
Is this
motive to
Sophie?
Everything.
Is this
you've
Sophie?
done.
Oh, it's Sophie. The fake name, no face, no
I
one.
was so
The story
intent
that
on
was
wanting
invented.
to please him and wanting him to be happy.
So far, real quick, I'm going to say something about that quote thing. I can't stand it when somebody talks about these random ass quotes or whatever that something supposedly Tate has said or whatever, blah, blah, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And because that's a very common one, the one that she just said right there. And he just blatantly denied that he's never said it, whatever, blah, blah. That's something you've seen on the internet and you believe it. What's it called? And literally, like, that, I'm just saying this right now, like, that shit annoys me. Like, if you have no evidence to prove he said, like, if he clearly has not said that in a live recording or on video or whatever, or blatant proof, you cannot just sit here and say he said it because somebody wrote it or typed it or put it on a website or whatever and says, oh, this is Tate that did it, whatever, blah, blah, therefore that. Like, that's just, that's not evidence to prove someone says it. Like,
this is not verifiable.
You can make a website right now. Okay, like, someone can make a website right now and, like, have, like, quotes or say it's my website, right? Or I'm saying all this shit, whatever, or Greg, you know, whatever. And then next thing you know, like, oh, like, does that mean now I said all this crazy ass shit that's on the website? Hell no. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, that's not fucking proof. I can't stand that shit. I don't know why people fucking do that. You know what I mean? If
What's even worse is that this woman is quoting some. So the BBC interviewed this anonymous woman. You can't see her face. You don't know her real name. You don't know anything about her. And she was saying, "Oh, Tate did this to me, this and that and that." But why would you, first of all, why would you be anonymous? Why would you use an alias name, a fake name? Why would this lady consider that valid? Like, we don't know if this woman is telling the truth. We don't know who the fuck she is. Tate doesn't even know who the fuck she is. Like, why would we believe that? That's not credible at all.
It's not. It's just not.
It's like, yeah, like, we don't know who that lady is. It could be some random lady that you paid. The BBC paid to paint this false narrative.
And I'll be honest, for me, mind you, where I'm technically a nobody in the sense in comparison to somebody like Tate, you name it, whatever, blah, blah. The fact that I even deal with that type of shit to certain levels already, okay, when it comes to Discord and whatnot, I'm telling you guys right now, like, it's just, it's a thing. People do this shit all the fucking time. They're rats. They're cancel culture, fucking pathetic losers, you name it, all this other shit, whatever, blah, blah. It is what it is. And unless it's him dead ass saying it, like recorded or definitive proof, you know what I mean, whatever, then sure, great, you know what I mean? And then the only other defense now he would have is like, what's the context or why was that even said, right? And if there's nothing to fill that gap and to defend him, then yeah, he's blatantly fucked and obviously he'd be a shit person, right? But 9 out of 10 times, even when there were certain incidents with that, there was context and etc. And he explained, showed it, whatever, and it was completely thrown out the window. Because for instance, if I'm over here talking about saying something like, let's say I'm talking about like, I don't know, race, right, or whatnot, and let's say I'm quoting somebody, you know, or let's say it's just something where in an area where I'm talking about something, but it's not actually my views or how I feel or whatever, and someone clips it, right, at that exact moment, obviously that's going to make me look bad. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm like quoting someone or talking about a situation and analyzing it or whatever. You know what I mean? You could be able to make it and construe it in a way to where I'm look like a racist or something, or look like whatever, blah, blah. That there's context for a reason, guys. So if I'm over here doing a stream and somebody's clipping all this shit and then making all this crazy allegation bullshit, that's dishonest and just bullshit. It is blatant, pure bullshit. Okay. And if you watch the whole fucking stream, you would see why it was even being talked about in the first place, and clearly that's not my view. I mean, either advocating against it or explaining in some way or whatever why this can be like a valid reasoning of thought process, some shit. Like there's things that me and Jay have talked about in real life topics to where if somebody really wanted to be an asshole, they could clip certain parts, form it in a way and edit it to where it makes it look like we're saying some crazy ass shit, but we're not.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It's intellectually dishonest to do something like that. They're trying to paint and spin a false narrative to destroy you because they clearly have some sort of agenda against you, some emotional, some sort of.
They get profit from it too.
Towards you.
You know?
Yeah.
Views, clicks, you name it. So
they get this false product of virtue signaling. Like, oh, I'm calling this guy out. In reality, they're painting a false narrative.
Exactly.
Like, so you're not special, you're a liar.
I just want to put that out there. So, like, overall, like, that's basically what you're working with, and that's what I've seen to my end. You know what I mean? I don't know everything, but what I've seen so far, that's what you're working with. And what she just did is even beyond worse than that, because she's just basically bringing up something fan-made, like, with no proof.
Like, not verifiable at all. It's some bullshit from some random lady.
I hate that shit. But overall, everything else, it's nothing that's caught my attention so far. It's her just being
just
bitched.
kind of, okay, do whatever you want.
And what has she accused? Has she accused me of a crime? This imaginary Sophie?
She's making the point that there is.
Has she accused me of a crime?
Emotional or psychological manipulation.
I've asked you a question, and I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here because I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you the question.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to decide the answers.
No, we're equal here. I've allowed you into my house. You don't come here with a position of authority. I'm doing you the favor as legacy media, giving you relevance by speaking to you. And I'm telling you now, this Sophie, which the BBC has invented, which there's no face of, nobody knows who she is.
The BBC did not invent.
Of course not. And because you never invent anything. And she's not filed criminal charges against me. What are we talking about here? What is she saying?
Talking about emotional manipulation into the sex industry for your financial gain.
Absolute garbage. She has not filed criminal. This person, if they exist, has not filed criminal charges against me. I welcome anybody who believes I've harmed them, male or female, any point in the past to file criminal charges against me. I will fight them. I know who I am, and I know what I've done, and I know the truth, and I know that I'll be found innocent.
I'm gonna put this out there. That's also really, really weak as well. Like, let's say if that was somehow legitimate in some sense, like emotional, whatever. Like, let's be real. When it comes to like anything being with emotional, whatever, blah blah. Good luck even like getting into all that. That's a whole other fucking can of worms too. Like, because like any one of us can be like, oh, I was emotionally abused somehow, whatever, or because we emotionally felt so, like. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, Jay. You could probably explain even better, but like that's also not even just strong at all.
This term emotional appeal, there's this level of tolerance before someone considers anything emotional abuse. Obviously, if you're like a 5-year-old and your mom or your dad's cussing you out every day, that's emotional abuse.
Yes,
but when you're a grown adult, you're a grown ass adult, and you're with a man like Tate, and you're working with Tate, and then you go out. Well, these hoes lied. I mean, say in a hypothetical, a woman doesn't want to work with Tate anymore, so they quit, and then they paint this false narrative that he was emotionally manipulating them, when in reality they just wanted to, flip the script and turn on him. That's going to be hard to prove.
It's going to be very, very fucking hard. It's appealing to emotion. It's all this like basically like this hypothetical, fantasy situation in a sense, right? Yeah. So like overall, like I'm just saying that's already like I'm just being honest with you. That's just not. Like, good luck. Yeah. Like, unless you have something legit, like what Jay said, like an example where a 5-year-old kid is having to deal with their parents cursing them on a daily basis, all this crazy shit, and this blatant emotional abuse, whatever, there you go. But let's say, like, it's the other type of situation, which is very probable and happens a lot, especially with women in comparison to men, because women are more emotional than men, I'm just saying. What's it called? Like, when it comes to that, basically, if the woman is somehow for some reason not feeling like valued enough or whatever the emotional disconnect is, right? She can now out of nowhere claim I'm like emotionally manipulated or emotionally abused or some shit, right? And it's just more likely just not going to work. Like for instance, like Amber Heard is an example. where if she's not getting her way or whatever's happening with a blah blah, she can immediately be like, oh, I was emotionally manipulated or I was emotionally abused because of X, Y, and Z, even though that blatantly is not the case. It's just because she's butthurt about something or she's upset about something, and now she's claiming it as an emotional case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, these terms just, these terms like manipulation and gaslighting, they're overused, and they're certainly used incorrectly a lot of the time. It's individuals trying to paint a false narrative because they have a problem with somebody.
Yeah.
Because manipulation and gaslighting imply malicious intent, and that's hard to prove. And the reality is, in a court of law, it's going to be hard to prove unless you have empirical evidence. So her throwing that term around in this interview, it's very disingenuous. She's trying to paint a false narrative,
and
he's clearly telling her, it's very weak. It's a very low probability outcome that her premise is even remotely valid. It's very, very disingenuous, and he is obviously aware of that. He's like, dude, what probability really? Outcome that he's literally questioning. It's very obvious what she's doing.
No, it's just absolutely, and I'm just, this is being a common pattern so far. Everything she keeps bringing up, there's nothing to prove it. It's all just baseless. Yeah. All of it's fucking baseless.
Loaded questions with empty, baseless sort of pillars to try to reinforce.
Hey, and you guys know how we are. Like the whole Seth situation, Seth the pedo. We were like, we're unbiased individuals. We're willing to hear him out or see what was going on, whatever, blah, blah. And mind you, me and Jay were both Seth fans back then and before. Yep. Like, so when we first started like hearing about all that, we were probably like, immediately when I even heard about it, I thought it was just bullshit or some bullshit, right? Like, there's no way, you know? And we started watching, we saw the evidence, and there was some very definitive shit, and there was some very high possibility shit, you know what I mean? So, like, we will immediately, I swear to God, we'll be the first ones to admit if this motherfucker is evil or wrong for something.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you that right now. We don't bullshit with that.
I was a bigger fan of Seth than I was of anybody probably before all of Seth the pedo shit, and I questioned him like, this is probably another attack from his enemies. Then I saw Clyde's video. I was like, okay, this is pretty convincing. And there's 3 hours worth of empirical evidence in this video. Then I saw the Keemstar stream.
that was the chair at the top.
Ratted himself out.
That was a chair.
He sort of proved his guiltiness. If anything, he tried to prove his innocence. He did the opposite with this pathetic display. I'm like, oh yeah, he's guilty. Like his credibility shot. There's more and more people like that were advocating this, not just Clyde and Noodles. There's a bunch of people. A female came on crying about it. Like there's just tons of empirical evidence. While conversely, all Seth had was, "Oh, I'm not a pedophile though." It's taken out of context. I don't know. Those statements are pretty blatant. What you were saying to these kids.
Exactly.
So, you lose, kid.
It's just
you're
like that's just basically what you're working with. So like I said. We're not biased. We're not, you know what I mean, or some fucking dick rider or any of that bullshit or like tape for life or whatever. Nah, if this motherfucker is ever proven guilty or whatever, some shit, yada yada, or something definitive or blatant, we are absolutely gone. I mean, and better yet, I would feel like a fucking idiot. Okay, at this point, it'd be the same shit all over again. And I would admit we're wrong, even apologize for it. Okay, and just go on about our life and move forward. But once
there's
again,
evidence that he's a fucking trafficker. Then obviously he's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, like fuck that. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just putting that out there real quick. You know what I mean? Because I already know I'll probably get some heat in a sense, or somebody's gonna be butthurt for saying this, whatever. Regardless, it's just inevitable, especially when it comes to him as an individual. But I'm just putting that out there. You guys know how I am. You know how Jay is, and you guys even saw how we were with Seth, and we were obviously blatantly willing to do the right thing and label Seth as a piece of shit. You know what I mean? So
he's a piece of shit.
It is what it is. So I know it's a little bit away, but it does have relevance, and I just want to put that out there. So it's all been based.
The reason I'm being attacked is because of my massive influence, not because I've ever hurt anybody. And for you to sit here and say that everybody around you is saying you're innocent, but that doesn't matter because the state will say they're victims, and they're just going to grab everybody you know and call everybody victims, even if they say they're not, and try and put you in jail. You are describing a matrix attack. You're not describing human trafficking.
I'm describing.
And another thing to explain what he just said right there, too, guys, to make it even make more sense. What he's basically saying in a nutshell is all that's really happening is some loser females made all these, allegations, whatever, blah blah, got a lawyer, a prosecutor, whatever, and there has to be an investigation because it's serious. If you're gonna make report a crime in a sense, right, or have an allegation that this man did this and this and that, whatever, okay, that is serious. They have to investigate that. They can't just be, we don't believe you, don't care, right? They have to investigate that by their laws, whatever. So they're obviously going to investigate. They're going to get a prosecutor, whatever. And then obviously the prosecutor's job, regardless if it's a bullshit case and he knows he'll more than likely lose, whatever, they have to investigate in somehow, some way, even if they know it's more likely not true. Like, look at the Johnny Depp thing once again. You know what I mean? They're going to still have to try to win, you know what I mean? Or somehow prove this bullshit illusion or whatever, right? So that's basically what he's saying. That's why he's calling it as a Matrix attack, because that's basically all it is. It is, in a sense. It's a Matrix attacks, and it's the same shit with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, where Amber Heard, she asked her prosecutors, all of it was blatantly bullshit, whatever. We found out the truth. We realized what it all came out to. But that prosecutor for her still had the job to make it seem true, to convince us, right? To make sure that he's still the bad person,
Yeah. Essentially, in Tate's case, 2 hoes lied, and it was literally proven through their messages. They're literally admitting, and they're saying they deserve a fucking Oscar. Literally what they said. Yeah. And this lady's premise to try and counter that is like, well, everyone else is still a victim, even though they say they're not. I'm like, okay, so 2,000 fucking people were called up by the Romanian justice system. Not a single one out of thousands of people said that he did anything to them.
Yeah, there's so many women that were with him too. So many, bro.
2,000, and not a single one filed a complaint. And you're trying to imply that they're all fucking lying, all 2,000? Yep. Are they all working together? Like, it's very, very bizarre. It's very disingenuous.
Even numbers-wise, probability-wise, it just makes no fucking sense, and it's contradicted in a sense. And
it's a horrible premise.
And most importantly, and her other main argument was like, oh, well, since it's being investigated and there's a problem, blah, 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 like, that means it has to be, like, legitimate. It's like, no, it doesn't mean that's the case, because we have tons and tons of examples where all because something is being investigated doesn't mean it's fucking legit. It could be a blatant bullshit investigation for no fucking reason, and because nothing is legit or whatever, it was a waste of time and money, right? So once again, this is simple. It's very stupid thinking she's doing right now. Like, it's a very pathetic argument.
Who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human trafficking.
We will see what women go. We will see what women go to court in this trial. We'll see which women go to court. We'll see which women go to court.
I'm describing women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human trafficking.
Sophie isn't going to court. Sophie doesn't exist.
And I'm describing women who have spoken to the BBC at length.
Sophie doesn't exist.
And other media organisations about what they say is emotional manipulation and coercion. And I'm quoting back to you your own words, where you describe
they're not my words.
Coercion.
They're words you found. They're words you found on the internet. Oh my God. And Sophie doesn't exist.
It went through one ear out the other, bro, and she's repeating herself now.
She's using circular arguments because her premises are poor, very pathetic.
And they're not going through.
Clearly appealing to her own emotion. Clearly.
But sure, let's start the circle game now. Here we go.
In your voice.
Move on to the next subject.
Yeah, and what Tate just did right there. That's what you do. In a debate, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's IRL, like real life crazy shit, or anime, whatever. What he just did right there, move on, circular reasoning, right? Or I don't care, you're just repeating yourself. That's all you gotta do. Don't even entertain the bullshit, guys.
Extremely apparent that she's extremely biased.
Yeah.
Not a good reporter.
Stick on
not
this
good
one
journalism.
for a minute. So there's other places in that same website where you say you get girls to fall in love with you, and they do it because they love you, because they want to do what you say. Convincing women to take part in some kind of business arrangement doesn't work long term because they're emotional. You've got to get them to fall in love with you. That's coercion, that's emotional manipulation, that's abuse.
What you've found are clips from the internet, some text from the internet, and you're going to sit here and tell me that that's the reason I should be
your website, your words.
It's not my website.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Check my website. Next.
It's the website you're taking down. I wonder why this comes up.
He's like, that's not my fucking website, you dumb bitch. I actually have an actual website. Go to my legit website.
What are you talking about? The hell? Someone said in the Twitch chat, you can tell she's salty. Oh yeah, she's definitely salty.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm over here. I'm so invested into this shit. I'm over here forgetting about you guys. My bad. But yeah, she's fucking tripping. Like,
extremely biased, extremely poor journalistic integrity. This is very pathetic. Very pathetic.
It's pathetic.
Have been taken down.
No website's been taken down. My website is the same. It's been the same for a very long time.
And think of this too. Like, let's say even if it was his website and there was something put on there, you do know, like, if you're good enough, you can be able to hack into websites. You can be able to fabricate shit, or even make things look like that it's not legit. Where he can have a website and it's quoted in a way, and then somebody could do something and make it quoted in another way, into it and make it look like it's on his website, but it's not. People do that too. Or if they're really smart enough, they can hack into it. This is not common. It's very rare, but it has happened as well where people can hack into websites and do shit and whatnot. So there's that too. But the fact that that's not even the case at all, meaning there's no contentious value, period, and it's just blatantly not even his website, and he's saying that, it's like, bro.
Yeah, if the prosecution isn't using it against him, what makes anyone think she fucking knows anything else more than they would?
Literally, bro. Like, come on.
On this
Been investigating him for months.
On the original website have been taken down, and I wonder why.
You are accusing me, I'm guessing, what you're trying to say is you're accusing me and you're trying to say that I'm guilty of the things I'm accused of and I'm emotionally manipulating people.
I'm saying that you have said you emotionally manipulated people.
He already responded, you dumb bitch.
No, absolutely not.
She's just fucking repeating herself.
Absolutely not is the answer. I look forward to the end of this trial. I look forward to clearing my name. I look forward to the BBC and the legacy media having to say not guilty and having to tell the truth. As I've said before, the only other person who's been found, despite absolute rigorous, destructive levels of investigation and prodding into my life, is this imaginary Sophie by the BBC who doesn't exist. And if you were to find any single other man on earth and try and analyze his life forensically to the level they've done mine, you would find genuine damage to people. I don't hurt people.
It's not just
Thousands of women have come out in my defense. Thousands of women have come out in my defense, and you've not mentioned that. Thousands of women come out in my defense.
Jay said that.
Literally.
The problem is when women accuse you of serious crimes.
Okay,
and emotional
but
manipulation.
let's agree that
That's
thousands
the
of women.
problem.
Let's agree that
It's not the
thousands.
problem that some people say you haven't done it. It's a problem that some people say you have.
Thousands of women come out in my defense, and as we stand right now, we have an open criminal investigation. The people who are involved in the criminal investigation are saying that we're not victims of anything. Andrew's fine; he's never hurt us. You're saying no. I have the opposite.
And before you guys even say it, because I don't even want to hear this bullshit either. Oh well, he probably paid all those people, bro. You're telling me thousands upon thousands of women that have been on his parties, this and this and this, you name it, or whatever business, whatever the case may be. You're telling me every single one of those women, he's somehow, some way gotten with them and somehow has some blackmail or who knows what, right? Like some movie scenario shit to where like that's why they're willing to advocate for it. Come on, bro. Come on. That's just dishonest.
That's extremely, very, very unlikely. And it's 2,000 women. I doubt he did that ahead of time. And I doubt that if he did that to every single woman, hypothetically, there's a very good chance that the prosecution would have found out
probability
about
that's just not even realistic.
Yeah.
Like, out of
It's not at all.
2,000, and none of them are going to, like, if, let's say, he was doing some crazy shit, you know what I mean? You're telling me not a single one of them be willing to come up and say something?
Yeah,
or
you don't think an investigator would...
Come on.
Yeah, like, you don't think an investigator would find at least one out of the 2,000 that find out that they're bribed? I doubt that they would overlook that. So clearly that's not the case.
And there would be evidence for bribery as well. There'd be evidence for blackmail or this and this and that, whatever. At the end of the day, like, no matter what, like, it's, if there's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean? So I'm just putting that out there. It's just stupid.
I have someone called Sophie with no face, a fake name, who we've invented, and she's not accusing you of anything criminal. So I don't see the whole point you're trying to make here.
You say you manipulate women, they say you manipulate women. Why wouldn't people think you do?
Who's they, bitch?
I'm not here to
Who's
say
they? What are you talking about? A fake fucking person behind your
I
show?
could see Jay in a debate Discord against her, and she's saying that, and he's like, "Who's they?" The fuck you talking about?
There's no they, except the two hoes that got caught lying and the fucking imaginary bitch that was on her show. We don't know how she looks like. We don't know who she is. Whoever that bitch is never went to the police. So that's your they that you're claiming? Come on, man.
Yeah, it's like, come on. It's crazy.
On your website and the testimony
You've printed something off that you found on Reddit, and you're going to sit here and say that makes me a bad person. And I'm saying that you should know better as a journalist and do some proper journalism. Let's investigate the fact that
do your job better.
I am.
Literally.
I already have, and we should move on. She's just trying to start an argument.
It's not only about the criminal allegations. It's a much bigger issue.
Hey, this right here would be emotional manipulation right now, apparently. 'Cause, she's clearly dissatisfied. She's not happy, blah, blah, yada, yada. I guess now she can just make a claim, I was emotionally manipulated because, the interview, blah, blah.
Organisations in the UK.
I got
gaslit.
gaslit.
Organisations in the UK. You've got the police naming you by name as someone who has a harmful influence on children and on women in the UK and elsewhere. Because
children now?
Because of the way you present
fucking children of another fucking
relations,
breed.
the way you say you should treat women.
That's very upsetting. And the reason that's very upsetting is because I know that's not true. I'm genuinely a good person. I believe my impact on the world is positive. In fact, if you were to read the comment section of nearly any video I post, especially by the legacy media, 95% of the population agree with me. Most people know that the things I say are positive. Legacy media
that is true. He is kind of spitting
Facts.
there. Statistically wise, you name it, they actually agree, whatever, this and that. It's a lot of support and love, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong, you're going to have the whole other percent that's obviously completely against him because they have all their motives, blah, blah. But like, more numbers-wise, it's the opposite. It's the contrary.
At this point, he probably has millions of fans now.
So I'm just saying, it's the statistics, so...
Yeah,
all its credibility in the last 3 to 4 years. Nobody believes it. And it's a shame, it's a massive shame that the BBC come here and try and push and purport this idea that I'm a dangerous person.
I'm
anti-drugs. I've never pushed drugs or any... I'm anti-drugs, I'm anti-violence. The UK is facing a knife crime epidemic, and they're going to sit here and say that I'm the most dangerous man in the UK.
You have said I'm the most dangerous man in the world.
What the fuck?
I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world.
You've also said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner. I'm glad you find that funny.
I find it funny that you're sitting here saying that I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world.
Damn well, like, let's be real. That is something Tate would say, let's be real.
Yeah.
But we know damn well if he was saying something like that, it wasn't in a literal fucking sense, because there'd be context. It'd be him joking or like some movie or some cartoon bullshit scenario, whatever. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, if he was that, just saying, like, say I'm the most dangerous person in the world. Like, come on, bro. Like, I would even say something stupid like that if it was funny for some reason. Or
fucking joking.
Like,
come on, man.
That's just. Oh my god! Like, better yet, I've had moments where I was describing like real life situations in certain videos of mine on YouTube, to where I was like, bro, like, the SWAT, where they were just thinking I'm Batman or something, and blah blah, or the most dangerous man in the world. So I guess if you clip that moment when I said I'm the most dangerous man in the world because I had a fucking SWAT and you name it all over me, and somehow they think I'm a fucking god or something. I guess now I'm evil. That's literal, right? I'm admitting I'm a dangerous fucking person.
It's so dishonest. Like it's clearly she's being extremely intuitively dishonest. It's so
some data books
clear.
bullshit all over again. Tamari's universal now. Like, holy fuck,
bullshit.
man.
You believe that's
Kakashi's omnipotent now,
I'm asking if you believe it.
No, you said you're the most dangerous man in the world. Is that some kind of proof that I'm dangerous? Am I Dr. Evil now? I'm telling you that it's very upsetting that you're going to sit here and that certain organizations in the world are going to try and pretend that I'm the biggest force of evil on earth. I'm genuinely a force for good. And the reason they're doing this is because of the massive influence I have over the youth, and they don't like that I'm telling the youth to think outside of the matrix and ignore things like the BBC, which come here with loaded questions and false narratives and try and paint innocent people as guilty.
You've said women's intimate parts belong to their male partner.
I said that if a woman marries a man, she takes his last name and traditionally the man gives her away. I've been pushing traditional religious beliefs because I'm a religious man. And traditional beliefs in regards to marriage. I was going to put
this out here. A lot of Christians and amen, blah, blah, they also believe in this as well and advocate, yada, yada, yada. So, like, where's their treatment? Why is he the only one that gets it?
Like, he's just the martyr. Even though most religious advocates or individuals, they want traditional.
Yeah, they're all about traditional marriage or just you can only be a guy and girl. Like, they're blatantly not. They can't stand anything to do with, like, trans or even gay people. Yada yada yada. Like, so, like, there's plenty of people that advocate to extreme traditionalism or whatever, or even reasonable traditionalism, like what he's doing, right? And nobody gets on all those agendas or organizations or churches or whatever, blah blah. But yet, for him, it's the end of the world.
He's apparently the martyr, apparently.
And better yet, there's religions out there that are actually are bad. That, whatever, blah blah. Yeah, everybody would be real quick. Oh well, it's the religion. You got to respect it. This and that, whatever, blah blah. But yet, if it's a religion, a perspective he's providing or whatever, it's evil because it's him.
Yeah,
I don't understand that. I don't.
Clearly picking and choosing.
Which everybody accepted 10 to 15 years ago.
So
that's not a crazy conspiracy theory. If you're going to sit here and say that me believing a woman should take a man's last name in marriage makes me the most dangerous man in the world, then you're just going to lose even more credibility than the BBC's already lost in the last 4 to 5 years. If that's your point, if that's your narrative you want to push,
say that
good
men
luck.
should be able to sleep with a lot of women outside marriage. That doesn't sound very religious or very conservative.
That's not what I said they should be able to. I said a lot of high-value men, a lot of rich men do it. And then we discussed at length on podcasts why rich men do it. And we also discussed why women decide to be unfaithful. It's not a gendered argument. We discussed unfaithfulness as a whole. What are the reasons?
Once again, guys, context. Watch the whole fucking stream instead of looking at the bullshit that people are trying to misconstrue and paint a picture. So
Yeah, literally.
Motivations for men and what are the reasons motivations for women. Because you have no time to actually watch my content, because you have no time to actually watch my content at length and understand what I'm saying, you just come here with a small snippet which has been provided to you on a piece of paper.
Saying it 3 times doesn't make it true.
No, completely. You don't have a clue what I say or what I talk about. You never watch my content. You have small pieces of paper, small clips on a piece of paper, and you're trying to pretend I've said evil things. And then you're going to say I'm the most dangerous man in the world, which is truly laughable.
You said that, not me.
Okay. Do you believe I'm the most dangerous man in the world, Lucy?
I'm not answering your questions.
Well, then
let's be real. The fact that she's even doing that, it's so laughable, and he's definitely right. Because let's be real, if he really was the most dangerous man in the world, she'd be dead right after this interview, probably. You know what I mean?
And why would the BBC?
Something would happen. Or better, he probably would even do something to her right now. You know, like.
Yeah. Why the fuck would the BBC even message him if he was dangerous?
Literally, come on, bro. It's just so bullshit.
It's so disingenuous. Like, get the fuck out of that bullshit.
Because, and I'll make this clear, I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals. We are people. We're citizens of the world, and we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal. And if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo and that you don't have to answer my questions is disingenuous because I don't owe you anything.
Asking questions and you answer.
But I don't owe
however you want.
This is a conversation. And I don't owe you any degree of authority over me. So let's make that clear. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to answer your questions and be honest with you and do you a favor.
Great.
And I'm doing you a favor. But you come here with loaded questions. You're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative.
I'm asking you about
and that's
things
fine.
you've said.
Bro, the chat said, I don't think she'd be talking like this to a fucking mafia boss, let alone the most dangerous man.
Yeah, she seems very comfortable disrespecting him. Why would she? If she was in front of Ted Bundy alone, you think she'd be saying, "Hey," like talking down to Ted Bundy?
Yeah, or a serial killer, you know, some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some serial killer or some fucking mafia boss. Like, come on, dude, get the fuck out of here.
It's a good example.
People are concerned about it.
She'd be really, really quiet.
You're not going to sit here and say you don't answer my questions because you're not above me.
This is also not supposed to be a third degree. It's supposed to be a conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, it would help if you answered the question.
I've answered every question so far.
Let me ask you another question.
Sure.
You have said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner, and if she goes on OnlyFans, he is entitled to a cut of her income.
You are extremely. It's actually very confusing to me why you're going to sit here, take long format podcasts I've done, which are 3 or 4 hours long, in context where I've sat with OnlyFans girls, 10 or 15 OnlyFans girls, where we've been joking back and forth, ignore every comment and satirical comment and sarcastic comment that the females have made, and then come along and say, you said this, and you're the most evil man in the world. I don't know if you understand what sarcasm is.
Did you say it?
I don't know if you understand what sarcasm is. I don't know if you understand what context is. I don't know if you understand what satirical comments are.
So you're saying it was sarcastic?
I'm saying it was a very interesting talk show. And for you to sit here and say that that is my true core beliefs and that makes me a bad person is disingenuous.
Is it?
Of course not.
Was it sarcasm?
Absolutely. You should watch the show.
You were being sarcastic when you said... Let me just clarify,
You should watch the show.
Let me clarify for the audience. You were being sarcastic when you said...
It's annoying that he has to continue to repeat. And that's... let's be real. I'm already predicting this, okay? You know, like the data books see all things in the universe. Am I shouting and right, meaning hyperliteral?
Literally.
Okay, so like, I already can see, like... She's just going to continue to do shit like this, and he's going to have to keep repeating himself over and over and defend and then provide the context or the reason or whatever, and then it's back to square one of this blatant bullshit.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
She's being a sophist.
This does not get her anywhere. She is dead ass wasting her time and making them look so fucking dumb and pathetic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's extremely intuitively dishonest, being a sophist, trying to like force this answer out of him to spin this false narrative when clearly he's putting that on check and he's like, all right, how many times I gotta fucking repeat myself? You're being intuitively dishonest. It was a joke. I don't actually think that fucking guys own their women's parts and that fucking I should get a cut from your OnlyFans. Like, clearly, fucking joking. What the fuck?
Like it's like, hey, apparently like me and Jay and Shinobi have joked with certain things, but I guess, you know, hey, that means we believe it, core values, you know, you name it. Evil people, you know what I mean? Like you can apply that to anybody. You can apply that to fucking Six out of all people, because even Six has that. Everyone, you know, like everybody fucking does that. Like Like,
Yeah,
once
what the
again,
fuck,
you
man?
can't, like, I'm fucking... Like,
Extremely intuitively dishonest. She knows what she's doing.
She
It's
does.
pathetic.
They all know what they're doing, let's be real. But
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Women's intimate parts belong to her male partner.
No.
You didn't believe that.
No, it's not that. It's that you haven't watched the show at length, and you should have, because the woman was saying, my man's car belongs to me because he's my man. And she was on OnlyFans. And then 20 minutes later, when she said she was on OnlyFans, I said, well, you're selling your body, that belongs to him because he's your man. And she laughed, she laughed, and she said, yeah, that's probably true. If you watch the show,
it always kills me when he starts, like, trolling or, like, impersonating sometimes. Oh, that shit gets me every time, bro.
Literally joking, like, come on, man.
Sense. For you to come here with doing no research at all, and then say, I don't understand what I'm talking about, but I've got this piece of paper.
Oh, let's be real. Let's be real, though, with that, Tate. Although he's spitting right here. If she actually did her homework and watched and went and seen or whatever, she would realize it's all bullshit, and she wouldn't even be asking these fucking questions.
She's just proving her lack of initiation and preparation. Just clearly, like, she had an agenda.
Like, if you care so much about journalism and being a reporter about, which, let's be real, the main consensus of those type of people is to find the truth. And to always, you know, like the whole moral aspect of like the truth and the right thing is always like their main shtick, right?
Yep.
It's so fucking laughable and disgusting and hypocritical, hypocritical, just ironic in a sense where that's what they're supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
And they're not. And I mean, they're choosing when they want to do that correctly, be competent, and then they're choosing when to be lazy, incompetent, dishonest, ratty, etc., etc., etc. You know, it's fucking pathetic. And that's what our world's come to, and it's basically a form of corruption when it comes to the media.
Oh yeah,
it's a form of corruption.
Media is extremely corrupt.
Yeah, it's a form of fucking corruption. There's plenty of reasonings why they enforce this type of corruption because you know money's one of the key factors, etc. So like, it's a joke at this point. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's comical now.
That's why you're saying the silly things you're saying. You should watch the show. Do some research.
Do you believe it?
You already answered.
I've already answered the question.
Not really.
Of course I have.
You literally just answered it. What the fuck?
She said not really, and then everybody else is literally like basically siding with them, like rightfully so, right? They're not being biased dick riders either. Like they're being logically like dead ass, and you can tell she's getting mad. Looking back over, she's like, bro, like why are you guys trying to help him or aren't you like what the fuck? Like you know, it's like nah, because you're being an idiot.
Yeah, literally, he answered it like 10 seconds ago. He's like, "Do you believe it?" Like, bitch, I just answered. The fuck you want me to say? You want me to fucking write it down so you can fucking have it in your notes?
This give me some Discord vibes, you know, like you're gonna answer something, approve a point, and they ask you like, "No, you really didn't though," or the.
It's like a fucking rat in Discord. That's what she is.
Oh shit! Oh my god. No, there's no way she would talk like this to a serial killer or someone like that, or like a terrorist or something. She'd be shitting her pants. Absolutely.
Literally. He seems so dangerous right now.
But you know, Tate's the most dangerous man in the world. Hey, amen. Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Better yet, you know what? I can fucking let me Google that shit for shits and giggles. Let me see what comes up. Imagine it says Tate.
I wouldn't be surprised. We would be posting some bullshit. Who will be super biased?
Who is the most dangerous man on earth? Harold Shipman, or dubbed Dr. Death for killing 218 victims, is one of the deadliest persons who have ever lived.
Oh Jesus!
He was a British, British person. Okay, married husband, managed to squeeze. Yeah, okay. So yeah, hey, that means apparently Tate. So basically, by definition of what we deem the most dangerous person ever is like being a serial killer or something fucking extreme, right? He's never done that, but yeah, he's the most dangerous person.
Yeah, I guess he's worse than a serial killer.
He's worse than that. Hey, Google disagrees, but you know, hey.
Do you believe that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner?
Of course not. I've just answered the question.
You just answered that. You said exactly that.
We've done that 3 times.
And does this woman believe that her man's car belongs to her? It's not a gendered argument. I really think that it's genuinely sad that when the BBC has a chance to finally interview me at the end of all this Matrix attack, that they don't come here with any kind of genuine openness to try and understand my influence over the world, or the things I push, or what I'm trying to teach the world, or why I'm a good influence on the world, because I am a massively good influence. Instead, they come here with pieces of paper, with printed out excerpts from 5-year-old podcasts, taken out of context, to attempt the same Matrix attack on me, which has been attempted endlessly. Every single person in legacy media has already tried this, and it doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really encourage you. I encourage you to read the comment section on YouTube when this goes on YouTube, and you will see that nobody believes a word you're saying.
The
This is
reason we're
garbage.
asking you about these comments is because we've got the chief executive of Rape Crisis naming you individually as spreading a dangerous ideology of misogynistic rape culture.
Absolutely.
Oh my
It's the
fucking
comments
god.
you make that are leading people to say things like
I
this.
was throwing around that
National
fucking term around like
organizations.
it's
Show the evidence,
a real thing.
please. Where's the evidence?
Rape.
You know what I mean? Like, you could say this all day, every day, but prove it.
To,
fucking horseshit.
saying that, blaming you for increasing levels of misogyny. Schools that are saying they are having increased.
You know what's funny about this? I
girls
guess like Andrew Tate's the next, Miller dude, the Flash guy. You know, Ezra Miller, where it's definitively proven he's a fucking a piece of shit. But but with him, it's not. But hey, I guess we could give him the same treatment because why not, right? Fuck.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
We could just
so fucking
pick and choose. You name it. Better yet, there's actual celebrities out there that are also pieces of shit. It's like actual ones that are actually out there. Yeah, we don't give a damn about them. We're letting them do whatever the fuck they want.
Cardi B drugged people before she became a famous rapper, but no one gives a fuck.
No one gives a fuck about that. Nobody cancels her.
She admitted it.
Yeah, nobody's
herself.
arresting her or nothing. Like, come on, bro. Like,
she fucking has 2 kids, lives in a fucking mansion, and she drugged people.
Cardi B is an actual person that does have history of being a bad person, whatever, and nobody nothing. But
no one gives a fuck.
But this fucking guy, he gets all of it. Low-key, whenever you see the most dangerous man in the world, imagine someone like Osama or someone like that who the FBI was actively looking for 10 years. The whole world was fucking looking for this guy, and the second they found him, they killed him. But no, Tate is more dangerous. It's blatant. It's just horrible. It's blatant.
It's a false narrative.
It's worse than Coxey versus Payne. Okay, I never thought something would be worse than that. All right,
that's worse. Yeah. It is worse than Coxey versus Payne. This is just fucking comical. Come on, man.
The female teachers being harassed